Well, hello, folks. How the devil are you? I hope you're all well. Now, before we start, we're on Tenerife, day 6, 2024, with our holiday jaunt. I'm going to let you know what went on yesterday. That was day 6. We're in day 7 today, to be honest with you. But yes, I think we are. Before I go any further, I did say you'd get to see it this week, didn't I? The old vest, my favourite one. This is the one that Erin doesn't like. She doesn't like me wearing it at all. She'd be mortified if she thought I was filming with it on, although she's no interest in the channel at all. She'd be mortified if she thought any of the public could see me in this. I'm not even really allowed to wear it around the house. She'll let me wear it under cover of darkness. When no one's likely to knock on the door or come into the house, I'm allowed to wear it. Other than that, I'm not allowed. I can wear other vests, but not this one. It's about 5 or 6 years old. It's my favourite. I love it. I love it. So, you're honoured today. You've got. It's only because she's by the pool, sunbathing. I mean, she says sunbathing. Some umbrella. She can't get in the sun. The wife. It's not great for her. But anyway, she's by the pool. I'm doing a bit of recording now. I'm going to let you know what happened yesterday. I'm also going to mention a couple of people we met. I think it's Colleen and Steve, but I could be wrong. If they ever watch this, you'll have to get to the end of it, folks, to hear all about yourselves and whatever else and what we got up to. Because I'm going to start the day. Is it in? I don't know if it's chronologically. Well, from what happened at the start to the end. I've even given myself some bullet points here so I don't forget things. I forgot a couple of things in a couple of the last videos I did about Tenerife, and I was gutted. But you know, folks, I don't re-record and I don't add things on at the end. Right, how did the day start yesterday? Well, I had a good day yesterday. I enjoyed my day yesterday. I actually met somebody yesterday. So first for me, this. I met another vlogger. I think that's what I'm called, even though I just do it in a weird way. I met a vlogger. It's the first person that does YouTube videos I've ever met. Now, I have met in the past Dave the Suit. He's a super gentleman who gives horse racing tips for free, or at this moment in time for free, and a nice fella indeed. But that was before he really started his channel, so I'm not counting that one. I met an experienced guy yesterday. Some of you might know him if you follow any of the Tenerife chat. I know some of you do. Some of you might not like him. You're free to call him if you want to in the comment section, but I won't be biting. I like the fella, but it's weird with these Tenerifers. There's a lot of people doing different vlogs and blah 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 blah, and there's a lot of backbiting and bit of hatred for one another. I've done videos on them all because I watch many of the channels, and I've just given my honest assessment of what I think to each of the various people behind the cameras. And it's weird, I say at the start of every single video, I'm going to mention this vlogger now, I'm going to tell you what I think of them, just my opinion. I don't mind them coming on and telling people what they think of me. I'm small for anyway, they won't be interested in me, but if they want to, they can do. If there's something about them that I'm not keen on, they can tell folk on their channel everything they're not keen on about me. And there'll be loads, you know, as well as probably at the forefront will be the fact that I don't do the editing that they do. I don't have the thumbnails, I don't have the music, I don't have anything. It's not polished, it's totally different. And I don't mind anybody knocking me. I've got thick skin. But a lot of these folk haven't got thick skin. And I said at the start of each video, I'll say 10 things about this person probably, and there might be one thing that I say that is a negative, or 2 things. And what will happen is, they won't focus on the 8 positives, they'll go for the 2 negatives, because folk always do. And that proved to be the case. And you get lots of people in one camp and not the other. You mention this fellow that they like, and you say anything bad, and they're on me case. I mentioned this fellow that they like, I said anything bad, and I had loads of it, I had loads of grief, but part of the course. I can take it, I'm not bothered. Anyway, the fellow I met yesterday called Rick, from Just Rick, that's his own channel. He shares his channel with his wife called Rick and Shelley in Tenerife. She's a top-notch singer on the island, I think the world of her, I think she's great. And I met him because, well, for a few reasons, but one of them, probably the main reason was, it was great to meet another person that does what I do. He gave me a few tips, I need loads. I told him, I mean, the main tip he gave me, and I know he's right about, I probably will try to implement, but I told him, I said, I'm just a technophobe, Rick, and more than that, I'm lazy. But I'm lazy I've not got the time to pick up new things, I just don't have the hours in the day. But we talked about various things to do with the island and off the island and whatever else, much of it confidential, much of it was between 2 consenting adults, and I said, oh, don't worry, anything you've told me that's a bit, you know, near the knuckle, or things that maybe I'm not supposed to know, they won't go any further, and to that end, they won't. I'm a man of my word, everything's sorted. But nice guy, we had an hour together, because I'm here for a while, we might have another half hour or hour later this week, or the next few weeks, I don't know. I've actually seen a video he's done today with a chap that's over here on holiday, for about half an hour video, I watched it this morning, it was fantastic. He's got one coming out, he tells me. Well, I think he's doing it on Friday, but it'll probably be out sort of Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I would imagine, next week, with an ex-well-known British comedian who's been a resident over here for many a year, and I believe used to be a warm-up man for Joe Longthorne. I'm particularly looking forward to hearing about that because, well, more about Joe Longthorne in another video, and there will be something concerning Joe Longthorne in another video. Don't know when it'll be, it might be days, might be weeks away. Anyway, I met him, we had an hour together at the place called the Beer Garden, absolutely grand. And that was that. So that was the start of my day. Came back and seen her indoors. It wasn't the greatest weather in the world. It's not been this week at Tenerife. It's been pretty poor. It's a shame we've got the wife's niece, well, my niece obviously as well, here with her fella at the moment. They're gutted. They've only come for, I think, 8 days, and the weather's been pretty poor. And she likes to sunbathe a bit, the young lady, I think she does, and she's not been able to. It's been very, very overcast. You still get a tan, but it's nothing like the norm. As Rick said only last year, the year before, there was weeks at this time of year that was hitting the 40s. At the moment, they're in the low 20s, mid-20s, which for here is really poor. We had a bit of rainstorm this morning, it lasted about an hour. It was really heavy. But it's a one-off for here, you don't tend to get it. I believe the weather picks up on Friday, and I believe next week is looking a lot dandier, and we'll take it from there. But I'm not bothered about it, folks, because as I say, I'm not a sunbather. It isn't really for me for all. A tan, it's not for me. But anyway, met Rick for an hour. Great time at Bell. Well, it was by me. From there, where did we get to? Well, we decided we was going to go somewhere last night, somewhere a bit different. We're going to take a walk up there for a night that started about 9:30. So I said, well, if we're going to walk up there, we normally would have a meal 7:30, 8:30. Let's not bother with that. Let's walk up there. It's got an attraction that we found was next door to it that everybody raves about. We could go there at 9:30, go in the attraction for 10 minutes. Back where we're going to, we're done for the night. How do you fancy that? Her indoor said that sounds okay. So what we did yesterday, we went out for a bit of lunch. We don't tend to normally have lunch whilst we're here. And we went to a place called the Ginger Pig. Now, the thing is, the Ginger Pig has been mentioned by many of these vloggers, these Tenerife vloggers, and I've seen about 2 or 3 videos of folk going in there, and they've absolutely raved about it. They really have. They've given it 9s and 10s out of 10 because they tend to mark it. Most of them have been 10 out of 10. And it's very close to where we're staying, so we thought, well, we'll give it a go. Erding does maybe not as keen as me because it's mainly burger based, and I don't mind a burger, but we'd probably rather sit down and she'd have a fish or a steak or whatever else, and myself to that extent. But anyway, we went in there. She had a salad. I think she robbed off someone. I'm sure it was Caesar's. I think it was Caesar's. I don't know. I don't have salad. I don't like all that rabbit food myself. And I had a burger with fries. Very nice it was too, and I mean very, very, very nice. Really enjoyed it. I did ask for a sauce that I forgot to bring, but for a change I didn't even moan about it because the burger didn't really need it. They charged me for the sauce. It didn't come over. I was going to give them a tip. The sauce was only €1, so I gave them €1 less than I would have given them. Everyone's a winner. They didn't need to know anything. Bobby Dazzler. Had I been marking it, I'd have marked it 9 or 10 out of 10. Very, very, very nice. I can see why it's doing so well. Yesterday lunchtime, 1:30, it was packed. Every night we go past it, it's packed. It's constantly packed. Nowhere else in this vicinity was packed yesterday at lunchtime. Nowhere. So it's doing better than the rest, and it's getting a good reputation, and it deserves it. So the Ginger Pig, thumbs up from me. Right, last night. So we decided this is what we was going to do. This is why we had a lunch. We was going to go a place in Las Americas. Now, a couple of years ago, we went in a little bar in Las Americas, a very little bar, run by an Irish chap. I think somebody said last night he's from Dublin. Seemed a nice fella. Runs a book there, you can get a bet on there and whatever else. I don't bet. I like a bet, folks, for those that don't know me. But I only tend to bet a weekend or when the racing's good. I don't bet the Egginsbury racing in the week. It doesn't interest me. The screens were on. We went in day before yesterday. The screens were on. We decided calling for one quick drink on the way home from our walk into Los Cris. We walked there and walked back. So we had a quick drink in there. We went there a couple of years ago. We said we'd go in one night a couple of years ago. We never got round to it. We met friends here last year. Kept saying we was going to go in. Never got round to it. So we went in there a couple of days ago. Had a quick drink and said we'll come in here one night. We don't know when, but we'll come in here. And it turns out the one that ended up being last night. Now the reason we had only lunch was it turns out the place we go into is next to a fish and chip shop called the Palms. I think it's called the Palms. As it turns out, The fellow that I've seen doing the review on the ginger pig, I've seen doing 2 reviews in the past on the palms. It looked nothing like I thought it was going to look. It's only a very, very narrow shot front, very narrow shot, or that goes back a bit. Looked different on video completely. Anyway, it turns out it's actually next door to this pub, and when we was in the pub 2 days ago, I said, if we went to the chipper there, do you allow folks to bring them in? She said, no, we don't. She said, but we've got a terrace outside with some tables and chairs. If any's free, you can eat them outside, then come in. I said, that'll do us. Anyway, when we went yesterday, we knew that was a no-no. It was packed. The pub was 3/4 full, and it's only a small pub. The terrace was packed. So I said to her indoors, we'll get them. There's some seating over there outside. We'll go and eat them. Then we'll go in there. Anyway, we ordered that stuff. It turns out now it's closing early. It's closing at 10 o'clock at the moment. Used to open until 2. But I think the lady that runs it is close to selling it. And everyone said it's the best fish and chip shop on the island. So I wanted to try it, as I say. Now, I don't eat the fish. The wife does. I don't. It was chips, peas and curry for me. You might not want to know that. You know it's all the same. Anyway, orders my stuff, orders her stuff. She said it'll be about 1/4 hour, love it. Oh, there's my phone going, then we don't need that. I'm just going to let it ring off. I don't have to turn it down even. Well, I do not. Wait a minute. Who's that? That's my son. Don't worry. We'll knock him on the head and I'll ring him back. So anyway, yeah, I orders my stuff. We order her indoor stuff, and then I say to him, right, okay, pay him the money. It's going to be 1/4 hour. I thought, oh, 1/4 hour, right. Her indoor said, let's go and get a drink. I said, well, it's going to be difficult. We're not going to drink it 1/4 hour. She said, I will. I said, no, you won't. I said, I'll be having a pint. I'm not throwing a pint down in 1/4 hour. I won't enjoy it. Anyway, we goes in there, goes to the woman at the bar, said, look, there's a table free there. We was going to get a couple of drinks. But we're going to get some chaps next door we've already ordered them and a bit of fish. I said, now I know we can't bring them in here because you've told us we can't bring them in here. I said, how is it? I said, how will it be if, what do we do? Can we order our drinks, start drinking them, go and get the food, eat it outside and come back in? Can we save our table? Or do you not want it working that way? Will people want to come in and want the table? Because if you need to let the table, that's fine. We'll not get a drink now. We'll get our stuff, we'll eat it, and then we'll take our chances. She said, oh, no, get your drinks. She said, put them on the table. I won't pick them up, and someone will save the table for you, which is what we did. So we had our food and we're going there. Now, this is a karaoke bar. It's called The Bell. The Bell. If any of you wants a good night watching a bit of karaoke, I would suggest it's a place to go. It's as packed as you can get it, but there's not many in there because it's a very small, narrow bar. You can probably fit about 40, 45 in. But doing it comfortably, you've got about 30 in there, which is probably what was in there last night. Then on the terrace at the front, there's another 15, 20, so 50 overall. Some crackerjack singers, good system, and a young lady running it last night called Cara. She was really good, really nice lady, good singer, dead approachable, nothing too much trouble. A credit to the establishment, she is. Absolutely fantastic. Now, we met a couple in there. I don't normally get talking to folk when I'm out. I'm a bit of a weirdo. I'm happy in my own company, with her indoors, of course. But I'm happy. But now and again, we'll talk to folk. We talk to these 2 people. Now, I'm going to ask you some questions again, folks. I raised this question a couple of days ago, and nobody got back to me. I'm going to raise it again because there was a similarity to the other night. I met this couple. I'm pretty sure it was Colleen and Steve. Steve's a definite. Colleen, I'm not sure about. I mean, she was a definite woman. I'm not sure the name, and the reason I'm not sure the name is I couldn't understand her properly. I wrote it down, and I think I remember it was Colleen. Her indoors, I said this morning, have you got anything you need washing? I said, yeah, you can put this shirt in I wore last night. I wrote the names down on a karaoke slip, so because we're going to mention them today. Put them in my top pocket. It's been washed with it in there, so the evidence is now gone. But I think she said Colleen, although I weren't certain I heard it right. It was pretty loud in there. Right. As it turns out, lovely couple from Scotland, lovely couple. This is how we sat. I'm sat in the stool as per usual, no back, facing her indoors. Her indoors is there, Colleen's next to her, and Steve's on the end. It transpires, that's a word, isn't it? I never normally use that one. In the end, I moved from the stool next to her indoors, sadly. I was a bit close for my liking, but I did. Anyway, moved next to her indoors, so then you've got me, her indoors, Colleen and Steve. Steve makes a joke halfway through, with 2 bookends, because the wife will talk to anybody. You think I can talk? Wait till you meet the wife. She can talk the hind legs off a donkey, I'm telling you. Is that a right saying or not? Anyway, she can. If it's a saying, she can. Anything to do with talking a lot, the wife ticks every single box. So she's talking to Colleen. Steve's feeling out of it. I'm on the other end. I'm used to it. I've had 35, 40 years of it. Don't bother me one iota. But it's worse for Steve because he's got a fella next to him who looks a bit like Groucho Marx, although the tash wasn't quite as dark. Very much like Groucho Marx. He sung about 6 times Groucho, but more importantly what he did was every time somebody sung, he knew every bloody song and every word, and he was singing at the top of his voice. So Steve's complaining to his missus, I can't hear a word of anyone singing, all I can hear is this joker here, and he was a joker Groucho. He was very funny, funniest of lot. But you don't want someone singing in your ear when you're trying to listen to somebody singing who's getting up and doing it, do you? And Groucho was singing them all, whether it was a men's or women's song, so it was doing Steve's nutting. Anyway, it's going off again, folks. I can't do out about it, I'm sorry. You see, this is me, very unprofessional. So anyway, we carry on and we're having a grand night, and right near the end, the woman said, last orders now. And Steve, what do you want? No, I don't want to drink. What do you want? No, I don't want to drink. I don't want to drink. I said, if I can get you one back, I'll have one. No, I don't. I said, look, you like me. I always like to get folk a drink. I said, I'm not bragging. Well, I don't think you heard this bit, but I'm telling you it more than out, folks. When I'm out with anybody, whoever it might be, and I'm not blowing a trump or anything, I'll always get the first drink in. I don't mind if we only have one drink and I get it. I'm happy with that. It's not that I don't like to owe folks a drink, but if I like people and I like them, I like to get people a drink. And I like these two. The only reason I didn't get them one was, well, that was it. We said last orders, we got ourselves a drink, we all got ourselves a drink. Then he pulled it again quarter of an hour later because he was a swift drinker, Scottish, you see, Scottish. He's had gone. What do you want? No, we're all right, we've had last. What do you want? I said, I've got half here, I'm fine. What do you... Anyway, he forced us. Now, I'm not one to get forced, folks, as you might know, but I'll let him force me. And I said, I'm telling you now, I'm going to see you sometime over this holiday. He's only here till Friday. We've not exchanged numbers and all that. I don't do all that palaver. They said they go 4 times a year. I said, I'm telling you now, we come at least once a year. I'm going to see you two again, and I'm going to get you two a drink. And I'll tell you, folks, it'll happen. Don't worry about that. But lovely, lovely people. Now, that takes me to the next bit. Scottish people. I told you this the other night. I was next to a bloke, as I say, in the Pheasant Plucker when Comedy Elvis was on. Turns out he was from Dundee. Couldn't understand a bloody word, and I mean nothing. Well, I said nothing. I told you. I understood him saying air conditioning. I understood him saying the chariot that he was driving. I understood €12. I understood €65. I understood ice. They're the only words I picked out in an hour and a half of listening to him. I was praying Comedy Elvis would come on, so he stopped talking to me. Because all I'm doing is this, that. Well, Steve and Colleen weren't that bad. But they were on the way to being that bad. Although I think if there'd have been no music in there, it wouldn't have been that loud. I'd have understood them more. So Steve's saying some things to me, and some of the time, I find myself doing it again. Oh, yeah. I'm thinking, he's going to think I'm ignorant, not answering him back properly. But I couldn't, Steve, I hope you watch this. I couldn't understand you fully, my old son. Now, I talk too quickly, and I'll have an accent in your mind, I suppose. But I'm asking this question again. It turns out, I said to Steve, where are you from? And I thought, please say Dundee. I don't know why I thought. Well, I do know it. He said, Dundee. I thought, great. It must be it. Dundee must be the place in Scotland where they've got the broadish Scottish. It must be. If it isn't, all I can say is I've met 2 folks now from Dundee in 3 nights, and one I couldn't understand a bloody word, and the other one, I could understand bits. Bits. I think, as I say, without any karaoke, I'd have understood more. But it was hard work, and I'm thinking, what is it about the accent that I'm not getting from Dundee? Now, Steve did tell me he lived in London for 15 years. See, I heard this. He supported Arsenal for 15 years. Well, I carried on talking to him. I never let that spoil a relationship. I carried on talking to him. I give him the benefit of the doubt there. But I thought, what is it with these folk from Dundee? I'm normally fine with anyone Scottish, Welsh, Irish. I'm fine. But me and Dundee do not go. Now, before we go to the Bell, I'm walking past old VERONICAS. I've seen a chap called Colin from Cole's Place, another guy that does the videos, and very good too. I very much like him. And he does one every time he comes here. He comes 3 or 4 times a year, and he films the nightlife outside VERONICAS, and he films at 1 and 2 in the morning. I think he often gives a disclaimer before he starts, and he says, "Look, folks, I'm not going to edit this, but I'm going to come across all kinds of people of all ages, and most of them will be pretty drunk, and there'll be profanities. There's no doubt about it, there always is. But I'm not going to take them out. I'm going to let you see it as it's done. So please don't be offended." Anyway, I've seen him film with that, and I'm thinking, number 1, Colin, you're taking your life in your hands there, because there's a lot of dodgy people out that time in the morning. Number 2, you must have better eardrums than me, because that incessant banging just does my head in. And number 3, I think to myself, why would anybody ever listen to it? Well, as it turns out, last night, because we walked to Las Americas, we're walking past Veronicas and all that, and it's just cranking up, it's just starting, and the bang, 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 and I'm thinking, oh my God, what's this all about? Who cares to listen to all this stuff? Who wants to listen to all this stuff? And I'm thinking, I do pity the younger today, I do. If that's all they've got to look forward to music-wise, I do pity them, I really do. I can say that, folks, to you, because I know the bulk of you watching this are going to be in your probably late 40s to late 70s, I would suggest. Or my age group. I always say to folk, we grew up in the right era. I mean, I'm a child of the 70s, well, of the 60s, but 70s music is my forte. Yeah, I know much of the 60s music is fantastic when songs meant something and there was actually words in them. This stuff going past Veronica's, it was like that to it all. And there was no words. I mean, to dance with it, you'd be like you're having an epileptic fit. And I'm not taking mick out of anybody with epilepsy. I'm not, folks. I'm not making light of it. Must be awful to have that. But absolute crap. Listen, if you're more my age group, bug of Veronica's, go round the corner to the Bell. You'll enjoy it. As for chips, who I'd meant to tell, they were, well, when they were putting the old chips out, you know when they take them out of the oil and they throw them in the side bit to drain off and whatever, they hit the side bit every time, because I've seen them doing it a couple of times and I thought, they sound like, you know when you get them frozen chips, frozen French fries, and you slap them on your plate, they all go down with a clatter because they're very thin, very crispy and whatever, they sound that way. I thought, that's how the chips are going to sound. Everybody raves about these Palms and I thought, I don't think I'm going to like these. The curry, gorgeous. Mushy peas, ooh, to die for. Chips, very, very, very nice. The wife said the fish was lovely. I don't eat fish, you already know that. So it was a thumbs up from us, and we'd go again. We probably won't this holiday, but we would. Is it as good as all the vloggers are saying? Probably not quite that for me, but that said, I think it's the best fish and chips I've ever had abroad, and I've had them a few times in a few different countries. So it's the best I've ever had. So yes, very, 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 very good. A definite thumbs up. Was there anything else I wanted to cover? I had a sheet here. I think there may have been. But if not, I'll finish it now and I'll ring the lad back and see what he has to say, because he's after me for something. Met Rick from Just Rick, Ginger Pig, Veronica's Strip, The Bell, Cara the Compare, Colleen and Steve. I hope she's called Colleen. I do, honestly. I really do. The Palms Chippy. Oh, and also, while I'm outside the Palms, I meet a gent there. And he's on the phone. He's on the old dog and bone there. And I heard him say to someone, 7-0? 7-0? Well, I knew in the Liverpool game, because that was about 2-1 at that time, or 3-1. Comes off the phone and I said, that wasn't United by any chance, was it? Because I know United were 2-0 up and I didn't see the game last night. As I'm walking down past Veronica's, I think they're at half time and I see the cameras on Garnacho and he's got his hands up and I'm thinking, Garnacho might have scored there. Guy comes off the phone, I said, was that United by any chance? He said, yeah. I said, have they won 7-0? He said, yes. I said, good grief. I didn't expect that. They've not got the top team out, although they've got a good few starters. I said, thought they'd win, but not that easy. He said, as it turns out, I'm a Barnsley fan. He said, it was me lad. I said, oh right. He said, first time he's ever been to an away match. He's been there tonight. He's never been to an away match on his own before. He's gutted it 7-0. I said, oh, what a shame for the lad. What an absolute shame. Really, felt sorry for the young lad then. You don't want that to be the first game, do you? Although we'll always remember it. There's that to say about it. But so 7-0, that was a nice end to me night. I didn't see any of it. Rashford got a couple. He should have took the penalty. I'm not into him giving the ball to Anthony. He needs more goals. He needs more confidence. But still, 7-0, you'll take that any day of any week. So that was a nice end to the night. What time did we get in? Ooh, we got a Joe Baxi home. We got a taxi home, yeah. Going to be a bit airy walking home from there late at night to where we're coming to, or it could be, so we didn't miss that late on. Then we got in about 2:15, so it wasn't too early again, folks. So we had another good day anyway, another good day. Started well, middle was good, ended fantastically. The Bell, Los Cristianos, next to the Palms Chippy. It's worth a look, folks, I promise you, it's worth a look.